Hello everybody, Clayton here at etrailer.com. Here at etrailer.com, we install, test, and review a lot of different products to help you as a customer make a more educated decision before you purchase. Today we're going to be working on a 2014 Ram 2500. We're going to be taking a look at, and I'll be walking you through how to install B&W's Fifth Wheel Hitch.
This fifth wheel installation kit is designed to let you install your B&W companion fifth wheel trailer hitches. The underbed design of this kit allows for full truck bed access when you're ready. It's under 5 minutes to convert your empty truck bed into a fifth wheel hitch. We'll start by unlocking our B&W hitch and installing our fifth wheel adapter. We have ours pre-assembled, but you can adjust the uprights here depending on your truck and trailer combination. At this point, the hitch is ready to attach to the trailer. There's a little clip here that you can release. Basically, it's a safety pin. Then you can swing the handle out and you can watch the jaws open. You're ready to back into your trailer now. Once you're secure under the trailer, you can reinstall the clip. Since the fifth wheel installation kit doubles as a gooseneck hitch, when you're not towing your fifth wheel, you can remove it, turn it over, and we can store it upside down in the hitch. That way we'll have full bed access.
To start our installation, we're going to remove our spare tire. Now you don't have to remove your spare tire, but it is a good idea to do so because it is going to give us a lot more room to work. I went ahead and already did that, and our next step is going to be to remove our heat shield. Again, this isn't necessary, but I highly recommend removing it. It's going to be fastened down with 4 10mm bolts, 2 located here, and 2 on the back of this cross member. We can just take our heat shield down and set it off to the side. And I just want to lower down our exhaust. I went ahead and sprayed down our hanger with some penetrating oil. We just want to grab a pry bar. We're going to kind of stick it behind here and then pry against our exhaust. With our exhaust lowered down, we now want to grab our provided template. It's going to be this little square thing, and that's actually going to fit right here in the hole in our factory cross member. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of play in it, so we just kind of want to get that position there. We can grab a Sharpie and just mark that hole. We want to lower down our template. As you can see, our mark is right there in the center. Now I just want to grab a drill bit and get our pilot hole started. Now with our pilot hole drilled out, we can move up top. So now we moved up top to the top of our bed. We're now ready to cut our 3.5-inch hole with our 3.5-inch hole saw. I highly recommend grabbing a piece of plywood and drilling a hole in this first, and then using it as a guide whenever you're drilling the hole in your bed. So we're going to get a lot better product in the end by taking this little extra step. So we just want to get our plywood kind of centered. Then we can start drilling. Now I just want to come back and clean up all of our shavings with the vacuum. And we just want to grab a file and knock down all of our rough edges. With our area all cleaned up, we now want to grab some clear coat. You can also get white paint if you wanted to paint your truck the same color, or just black, really whatever you have laying around to help seal up those edges to prevent rust. Now we just want to let our paint dry for a little bit, then we can move back underneath and finish getting our gooseneck installed. We're now ready to grab our provided spacer. There's going to be a smooth side and a more rough side. We want the smooth side facing the top of our truck bed. So we're going to take our spacer like so, kind of slide it up between that cross member, and then kind of have to force it into place between our bed and that cross member that we drilled through. It is going to be a tight fit. You're not going to want to use a pry bar because you risk messing up your bed. But once you get it like this, we can grab a flat blade screwdriver and work this over to the center of the hole. You just kind of want to get this centered in that hole or at least as close to center as you can. And then once we put our hitch into place, it'll kind of finalize this motion and get this directly centered. Now I'm going to grab our included nut plate. This is going to slide over our frame rail through our fender liner here. I am going to put a little bit of bend here just to give us a little bit more angle to get it lined up. These are pretty easy to bend. You just press them against your leg. You can kind of put a little bend in it. Now I'll give you just enough leverage to get this to fit in there correctly. Now we just want to grab this, kind of slide it in. There is going to be some wiring in the way. If you go up and over that wiring, just kind of slide this in here like so. Now you just want to kind of push it like this, and leave a little bit exposed here on the ends. And it'll actually go underneath and get it centered with a screwdriver. Now whenever we're sliding this in, it is going to help if you have an extra set of eyes at home to kind of help you line that up just visually first before we jump back under there with the screwdriver. And then like I said, you can use a screwdriver, or in this case we were able to get it just by kind of looking and moving it on the outside of the wheel well. But as you can see, it is pretty easy to move around, so if you are having trouble, you can just kind of stick a screwdriver up in here and then slide it back and forth to get it in place. We're now ready to lift our center section into place. We're going to be using these 4 bolts that are provided. They're going to be the bigger bolts with the darker color and a little bit of thread lock inside of that groove. And now with an extra set of hands, we can lift our center section into place. You do want to watch out for your wiring. Then with that kind of in place, you just want to get a bolt started on each side to kind of hold that center section up. Now I just want to get the rest of our hardware started to make sure it's nice and supported. Now I just want to grab a 24mm socket. We'll start tightening these down. You want to make sure to tighten them in a crisscross pattern to get it nice and even. We're now ready to come back and torque everything down. Again, you want to make sure to go in that crisscross pattern, and then all of our torque specs can be found listed in our instructions. We're now ready to get our handle extension bracket. This is what it's going to look like. We want the narrow section facing towards this, and on the back side we're going to add our smaller carriage bolts. So we're just going to slide those through the back of our handle like so. And then we can take our bracket, kind of slide that end up and over our gas tank and push that onto there. Then we can grab our provided hex nut and get that threaded on. Now again, we are going to be using these smaller carriage bolts and our small hex nuts that look like this. You want to make sure you have the flat side facing towards the bracket. We'll just get a couple threads on there. Then we can grab our other one and get that started as well. Now it is kind of tight in here, so if you do have to kind of move this out, you can. Really whatever is going to allow you to get enough room to get your hardware in. We can now come back with our 9/16" socket and just get these tightened down. Now I want to grab our arm. We're going to be using these 2 front holes here. We're just going to slide this through like so until it hits that bracket. You do want to remember to keep this part facing up. Now we can move underneath and add our hardware the same way that we did on the other bracket. Now I just want to pull out on this and make sure it's not getting hung up anywhere. And in this case, we're good. We know it's going to work nicely. We can move up top and drill our holes for our safety chain loops. We want to start with making sure that our pin is engaged. We just want to set our ball into place so it kind of sets up like that. And then we want to grab our template. Our template is going to include our drilling locations for our 3/4 ton and our 1 ton. But in our case, we're using a 3/4 ton. So we just want to mark out our 1 ton so we don't accidentally use it. And a good way to check is this is going to be the last 4 digits of your part number. So you can definitely verify that our outer 2 spots are the correct ones. And we just want to take our template and slide it over our ball. Just like so. Now we just want to grab our paint marker, just make our mark inside of our template on each side. Now I just want to grab a small drill bit and drill a pilot hole in each marked location. We are going to be drilling through our bed and that cross member as well. We'll repeat that same process for our 3 remaining holes. We now have all 4 pilot holes drilled. Now that cross member that runs underneath our bed is going to be pretty hard, so you do want to keep a few extra batteries charged for when you are drilling through it. But now, since we do have those opened up, we can slowly step our way up to that full 1/2-inch bit that we're going to be using for our safety chain loops. We're now ready to use our 1/2-inch bit and finally open it all the way up. And before we get everything cleaned up and painted, we do want to grab our U-bolts, just check the fit, make sure that they fit through there. In this case they do, so we want to pull these back out, then we'll vacuum it up. Now I just want to spray clear coat over those open holes, just like we did for our bigger hole. And again, I'm just going to kind of touch up these edges, just to make sure we're preventing any corrosion. We can wait for it to dry, and then drop our U-bolts back in. And now we're going to grab our spring. We're going to put our biggest end facing up, like so. And then we want to grab one of our provided hex nuts. We're just kind of push that spring above there and then get our nut started, just like so. We're just going to thread that until the threads catch, and we'll move on to the back one. This part is kind of tough, but you just kind of have to pinch the spring and keep it up out of the threads, which will allow you to get that bolt started. Now we'll repeat that same process on the passenger side. Now we just want to tighten these up to where the U-bolt is flush with the bottom of our hex nut. We're going to do this for all 4 bolts. We are going to use a 19mm socket. Now with our gooseneck completely installed, we're now ready to reinstall all of our exhaust hangers, our heat shield, and our spare tire in the reverse order we took them apart. With all of our components reinstalled, we're now ready to finalize our installation and install our B&W sticker. I went ahead and just cleaned off our frame rail here with some brake clean. You can use brake clean or rubbing alcohol, really anything you have at home. Now we just want to grab our sticker. I went ahead and peeled the protective covering off the back. We'll just stick that on. We're good to go. Went ahead and got our heat shield and our exhaust put back. We're now ready to reinstall our spare tire. With all of our components installed, we're now ready to hook up to our favorite trailer and hit the road. That's going to do it for our look at and the installation of B&W's Fifth Wheel Hitch on our 2014 Ram 2500.